are essential. The third question in relation to the severe economic condition in Japan is why yields on JGBs have been stable at low levels despite the deterioration in the fiscal balance. In fact, the average yield on JGB since the beginning of 2000 has been around 1.4%, an extremely low level. Long-term interest rates are influenced by three factors: the expected growth rate, the expected inflation rate, and risk premium associated with holding government bonds. Accordingly, one possible explanation for the low and stable long-term interest rate is that it reflects the market view that for the time being, Japan's economy will continue to grow slowly and have low inflation. However, this explanation alone is not sufficient. Given continued large fiscal deficit, if doubts about fiscal sustainability were to spread and investors were to become concerned about the risk associated with holding JGBs, long-term interest rate would rise. So far, this has not happened, however. In this context, it is often pointed out that JGBs are largely absorbed by domestic and private savings, which contribute to the low and stable long-term interest rates. However, as history shows, no country can continue to run deficit forever. Viewed from this perspective, it appears that the reason why interest rates in Japan have remained stable is that market participants believe that Japan ultimately has a strong will to work on mid to long-term fiscal consolidation through, for example, reform of the tax and social security system. And if I may add one more thing, I think another major reason is that the Bank of Japan's conduct of monetary policy has been clearly focused on achieving sustainable growth with price stability. To put it the other way around, Japan should appreciate and make every effort to maintain the confidence shown by the market while working on mid to long-term fiscal consolidation. Next, let me turn to the fourth question, namely, whether Japan's economy can really regain its vitality. I mentioned earlier my belief that Japan's economy can regain its vitality. At the same time, however, this of course cannot be achieved without any effort. The road toward Japan's economic revitalization starts from a clear identification of the root cause of Japan's economic problem. Understanding that this is a downward trend in the growth potential, it is necessary to work on specific solutions. In this context, some argue that the first thing to do is to overcome deflation. Needless to say, overcoming deflation is a major issue for Japan's economy. In some instances, price increases may, of course, precede acceleration in growth. But this is typically only the case when inflation is pushed up as a result of price increases in international commodities, such as natural resources, fuel, and food. However, such developments would entail a worsening of the terms of trade and hence a fall in real purchasing power. People would not welcome such price rises. The relationship between economic activity and prices in the past show that prices increase as growth accelerates, and hence the output gap narrows. This is how the economy usually works. Thus, Japan's moderate deflation is a manifestation of the fundamental problem of long-term downward trend in the growth potential of the economy. I would now like to discuss efforts in three areas that I think are particularly important for raising the growth potential of Japan's economy. The first concerns effort to tackle rapid population aging. Based on current demographic trends, the pace of decline in the working age population will accelerate in the future. For this reason, society as a whole needs to create a working environment that promotes an increase in labor market participation, especially the elderly and women. In this context, I would like to note that female labor market participation in Japan remains low in international comparison. Second, it is necessary to raise productivity growth in the economy as a whole. In this regard, the Japanese firms have been diligent, of course. Typical examples are production and inventory management through just-in-time system, as well as Kaizen, continuous improvement, a term that has made it into English. Following the burst of the bubble, Japanese firms have also been working on reducing labor costs. For individual firms, efforts to pursue operational efficiency are certainly important. However, in a world of increasingly fierce global competition, these efforts alone do not lead to an improvement in productivity. The reason why Japan's workman once dominant market around the world is that in addition to high product quality, it offers a new lifestyle, allowing users across all age groups to listen to music outside the home. Taking this as an example, Japanese firms need to make greater efforts, not only to improve the functionality and the quality of product from the perspective of monozukuri, a Japanese expression for creating substance, but also to provide new value from the perspective of shikake zukuri, or going beyond the developing a product to create an environment that the product can thrive in. Thus, what is needed is for firms to make greater efforts to tap latent consumer demand and to create new added value. At the same time, in terms of improving productivity in the economy as a whole, effort at such micro levels alone are not sufficient. What is also crucial is to enhance the metabolism of the economy as a whole. That is, not to impede the smooth transfer of production resources, such as capital and labor, from areas of shrinking demand to areas of growing demand. Moreover, it is vital to make effort to actively capture demand in overseas markets that are enjoying high growth, and many firms have recently been striving for tapping such demand, especially in the Asian market. In these markets, and especially in China, demand for consumer goods is growing exponentially with the expansion of the middle class. At the same time, while enjoying high growth, these countries suffer from problems such as pollution and urban overpopulation, which Japan once experienced. In these areas, there also exist great opportunities for Japanese firms to take advantage of the skills and know-how acquired over many years. In order to actually capture such overseas demand, it is necessary to arrange an open trade system. The Japanese government announced last year that it would accelerate the negotiation of free trade agreement and economic partnership agreement. Developments in the discussion on these agreements are of key importance for increasing the productivity of Japan's economy. The government needs to play its part through deregulation, tax reforms, and opening of market to provide a business environment that helps to increase productivity. Third, efforts to improve the fiscal balance are also necessary. The deterioration in the fiscal situation reduces the expectation for future income growth, especially among working age generation, and restrains spending by this generation. Moreover, as seen in the sovereign debt program in European peripheral countries since last year, once confidence in fiscal sustainability erodes, this will result in an adverse feedback loop among fiscal conditions, the financial system, and the real economic activity, with negative consequences for economic activity. An improvement in fiscal balance is not something that can be achieved through inflation. It is true that if price rise, tax revenue may increase. At the same time, however, expenditure such as those on social security and public works would also increase. If future inflation is factored into long-term interest rate, the burden of interest payment on government bond would also rise. It is therefore necessary to fully recognize that the improvement in the fiscal balance cannot be achieved without effort to both reduce expenditure and increase revenue in real terms. I talked at length about effort that are needed to raise the growth potential for Japan's economy. Unfortunately, however, such efforts have not made sufficient progress. One of the reasons is that the need for reform cannot be immediately felt. This reflects the fact that although the growth potential is declining, Japan's economy stands on relatively firm foundations. For example, because Japan's domestic market is relatively large, firms have been able to make some profit, even if their business focuses only on domestic market. With regard to fiscal problem, long-term interest rates have not been rising, the yen has not depreciated, and there has been no capital flight. In fact, even though the recession following the failure of Lehman Brothers was more severe in Japan than in the United States and Europe, demand for the yen has actually increased in the foreign exchange market, as it is viewed as a safe haven currency. This is attributable to the fact that Japan has been running a large current account surplus and is the biggest creditor nation in the world, so that Japan is perceived as among the most robust countries in terms of foreign currency funding. Be that as it may, given that decline in growth rate is a problem that has plagued Japan for a long period, a tremendous amount of human energy is needed to reverse this trend. What concerns me in this regard is that Japanese society is losing a healthy sense of optimism. Just as excessive pessimism can generate an asset bubble, excessive pessimism can depress the economy. What is necessary is a strong will for reform and overcoming excessive pessimism. We should keep in mind that Japan's economy and society still have many strengths. The first strength is that Japan is in Asia, which is the very center of the global growth. For example, looking at the trade developments with China, which is now Japan's largest trading partner, Japan's export to China have grown 4.7-fold since 2000, while imports from China have grown 2.7-fold. Moreover, Japan's direct investment position in China has expanded by a factor of more than 5. Moreover, the number of visitors to Japan from Asian countries has doubled in the past 10 years to around 7 million, accounting for nearly 80% of all visitors. In the future, visitors from Asia are likely to increase further as their living standards improve. This is also expected to provide significant boost to various regions in Japan. Japan's second strength is its high level of technological capabilities. Japan's technological capabilities are particularly high in environmental and energy-related fields, and the energy efficiency of Japan's economy is second to none. Given global trends such as substantial increase in demand for infrastructure in emerging economies, the shift to a low-carbon society, and the growing role of environmental protection, the need for Japan's advanced technology in such area is bound to rise in the future. In fact, there are a considerable number of Japanese firms that have gained a substantial global market share by making use of advanced technology in electricity generation and storage or water purification and desalination. Moreover, the recent new trend electric power companies and local governments, exploiting their ability to provide efficient and reliable service, have shown greater eagerness to enter overseas market in the area of urban infrastructure development, such as distribution of electricity and water. A third strength, although it's difficult to find the right word, is what may be called the soft power of Japanese society. I'm sure you yourself, as a foreign correspondent in Japan, have probably experienced how safe Japan is, as demonstrated by the greater number of vending machines, how reliable business operations are, as epitomized by bullet train, it is always on time, or how courteous the service is one received in retail stores. It seems to me that soft power such as safety and trust is becoming an increasingly important asset in this global